Introducing the legend itself, non-profit prophet, the epitome representation of a citizen nation. Words encapsulate the many problems which we are facing. The engineer to the designer, the flame of the fire that forms a platform for citizens that elevate higher. The sound of the trumpet, warning war has begun between the rebel aliens and the ignorant ones. Bring my fellow citizens to the plane that I'm from, cause ignorance will leave your brain dead, same as a slug. A straight shooter focused like a laser, same as my gun. The epitome and summary of all the above. Bridging gaps like overpasses, hinge I'm bridging the masses. Breaking barriers and walls and different ball when it smashes. I'm a general, a captain, a lieutenant, and leader. Since following examples of my citizen senior, the pillars of wisdom, my professors and teachers, all citizens studious to progressive procedure. Now I carry the torch, I'm prophet, and preacher, gatekeeper to the kingdom, epitome St. Peter, librarian, savior, Luciferian Jesus, with the power to convert you by the end of this thesis. Heed the words of the written in a reflective condition. Free your mind from any sense of interjecting suspicion. Keep your logic and reasoning, common sense in your wits. The only tools you need to have when your adventure begins. Pay attention, citizens, to the words that I'm speaking. Every Sunday at 4 o'clock, it's real talk on Vendetti's block. Welcome to Vendetti's block, everybody. Co-host Steve Liny.
How you doing, Joker? Looking good today, baby.
Hey, look at you. I like that shirt.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. You're coordinating.
What? Thank you.
Gotta coordinate.
Got that at the Gap, baby.
So you want to tell everybody about yourself, what you do?
Absolutely, man. All right, I'm a therapist at Midwest Life Center, and I got an office downtown. It's a private practice. Doing okay with that. Love doing it. It's my thing. And then I DJ 6 nights a week. And I also have a children's show and an adult show called the Royale Pirates of Tortuga. And with the adult show, we intermix WWE wrestling and professional sword fighting. It's a pretty cool thing. And then with the children, we have an hour-long scripted show with lights, smoke, the whole 9 yards. And what we do with that is we have a big puzzle that the kids put together that help the pirates out. And it's just a real cool thing, man. It has to do with the self, families, groups, mankind, and animals. Love it.
How often do you do that?
Joker, we have in the summer we have at least 5 children's shows.
Nice.
We've got one coming up in Michigan, and that's for the adult show, and they have those glass bottom boat tours.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, so you're just not in Omaha doing it or account?
Yeah, it's national.
You're national.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
Absolutely. So
touching everything.
Doing it.
Touching everything.
Doing it. But
right.
What are you touching on today, Mr. Vendetti?
Well, today we're going to be talking about the conflict dynamic. You see all these problems, and I mean, where does a real problem start? It starts with conflict. I mean, I kind of find, try to dig down to the root of something, what it really is, and I just came, conflict, and it was just, that's about as basic as you can get. And then you can go into definitions and reasons. So conflict, it's derived from the Latin word conflictus, act of striking together.
Conflictus.
Clashing.
That's it.
Clashing. Serious disagreement or argument, be incompatible or at variance. Clash.
That's it.
So example of that, competitive or opposing actions of incompatibles. Who's incompatible? You see who's separated. I mean, it starts whenever you're like probably at high school. People are clicking up, and I was talking to somebody about the high school. They went to Northwest, and I was like, "Did you like it up there?" They said, "Nah, it was too clicky."
There we go. Right, you're starting already.
So it's then you get conflicts from that. We're different. We have to be, opposing each other. And I'm like, what is the, I don't know, what is that, instinctive? Is it just in our DNA to be, to be clicked up and group up and then find other people that are not like us and oppose them and have conflicts? So, you being a therapist, you probably deal with this a lot. People have a lot of conflicts in their life, but it's, people don't really know how to deal with it. So I want to kind of see if we can get to the bottom of that. And, I want you to, your professional opinions and everything like that. And, even your personal, I mean, this is
something that needs to be, discussed. And I think today's going to be one of the, best shows I probably ever have even doing this, because I really think that this needs to be addressed. So let's get to it.
Yeah, man, and it's a pretty heavy subject, and we've got to be incompatible, clash, competitive, or opposing actions of incompatibles, causes, divergent ideas, interest, or person, religion, race, status, affiliation. But if you really look at it, when you have a conflict, you have a ridge, okay, and that is two opposing flows going in opposite directions. So you have a flow going this way,
right,
and a flow coming right back, and those flows aren't matching. Bang! It puts up a ridge. Now let's do an example. I'll show you.
Okay.
I want you to say, "Hi, Steve," when I count to 3, and I'm going to show you what a ridge does and how it hangs up.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Joker. See that right
Yeah.
there? Those two flows. I've got a flow going out. You got a flow coming back, and it ridges up and it hangs, right? So that's basically a problem. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. It's like when you have somebody talking about, say they have this radio show and they really want to do great with it, and this guy goes, "You know what? I hate radio, man." You know what I mean? It's a bram. You just like there. Yeah, and everything can be resolved through communication. What do we have? That Chinese proverb: "He who throws the first punch loses."
Is that Confucius?
I believe that might have been Confucius.
Sure. My son
I'll have to look that up, but I forgot where it came from. It was Chinese.
Books, whatever, because I was talking about when I went and picked him up yesterday. I was talking with his mom and her husband about what Jefferson wrote, and I have a colleague at school that she wrote a paper on that for a composition class we were doing, and it was how America was now, and it's pretty deep, and what Jefferson talked about, what they were like, but that was all based on a conflict itself.
Mm-hmm.
But he went and got to some books, and the 3 books, 2 of them I remember, it was Thomas Jefferson, and the other one was Confucius.
Right on, man.
I was like,
they don't. Yeah.
I was like, that is awesome. Like, I mean, he is on the path. We had the first day together in a long time, and he's come a long way. He's a really good kid. Shout out to my son Josiah Sean. He's doing good. He's got his head on right. I couldn't be prouder as a dad.
Attaboy.
He keeps it going.
Keep it going, baby.
But yeah. So, well, back into it. I had to share that story.
That's all right, man. That was awesome.
But all these things I found that were, with the ridges you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The last campaign, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why I hate election time, because you see it, and it's
you see the flows going. You
Yeah,
got Democratic, Republican.
I don't even know
boom,
it's a
clash,
flow.
clash.
It's like a tsunami, and then another
Exactly.
tsunami, and then it's like a stupid tsunami.
Yep. And then they get off into the thickets of each little thing where there's. Excuse me. You get off into the thickets of. The main thing is, what can this guy do for the country, or what can this guy do for the city? And the other guy is saying, well, I can do this for the city. He says, I can do this for the city. Well, great. Well, now, you can't do this for the city because...
Exactly. Because...
whatever the because is.
You start throwing mud.
There, and it goes into the thickets.
And you know what? The person that turns me off, like a politician, is the person with the heaviest hand of mud.
Mm-hmm. The one that's talking the most smack.
Exactly. So you can tell who is, I mean, I don't like, but the last election, you could tell it was just like, come on. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you really did your homework on these guys, it would come, that's what I think conflict, these party affiliations and everything like that, because I remember when, in the primaries and Hillary and Obama there, and it's like, and then now they're campaigning together and it's like, how do you become so, if they're so incapable, now you're supporting them. I mean, To me, that's stupid.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I agreed.
And that's the problem with that is people go from intelligent thinking to the group thinking. Like, this is what, is what's right because I'm a part of this group and this is what we all believe in.
Or you have the one guy, if you want to go there for just a second, he goes, my daddy's been a Republican, and his grandpa's been Republican, so I'm gonna be a Republican, and I don't care. It's like, dude, and some of the stuff is like, that doesn't even make any sense, but you're gonna stick with this just because it's a group agreement for the Republicans,
right?
Please, I don't even.
It's like, we don't believe in this as a, it is.
Have you looked at it from a non-biased point of view?
Exactly. I don't think there are. There's new party, the Tea Party. There's like all these parties. Oh my goodness.
And I'm not picking on Republicans. That is all affiliates. I'm not picking on Republicans or anything like that. Democrats and all that.
Right.
Well, it's all around.
Yeah.
Because there's no agreement.
Yeah.
There it is.
In the Green Party, there's so many parties, and none of them are fun.
Absolutely not.
You hear the word party, you're like, the word sounds fun, but when you get into politics, the word party is just
that ain't no party at all, man.
It's ugly.
I don't want to party at that party.
I'm not want to party with you guys,
right?
Yeah, but why do people feel like they have to be? How do they click up with some and believe some stuff that they don't even have any what they believe in themselves or whatever they had inside, and they just changed and like, well, I believe this now. Like, how does that happen as a human being? How do people go from believing something and then like people that join cults? Perfect example. How the hell does that happen? How do you abandon your whole, like, everything you've ever known, sell everything, and give your life to something that you have no idea what is even going on? You can't even research it because they're a cult, they're secret. Yeah. So you can't do any kind of intelligent research or any kind of background check or, next thing you know, you're drinking Kool-Aid on an island somewhere. So how do people, what is that in the head that has people so apt to just group up and drink Kool-Aid?
Maybe too many conflicts in their personal life, and they're looking for a group agreement with somebody else.
Okay, that makes sense. Because if you have so many conflicts, like if you have maybe an abusive parent or something, or even if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're married. You could be a woman that's married and your husband physically abuses you, so you have a friend that's,
opposite sex.
No, that's like knows these cult people or whatever. Like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then meet some, and they're like, these people are awesome, and and then they look at their other life. It's like the path. They go, they're like, I was like this. Now I kind of have paths now, and that's so tempting to try to just go down one of the other paths when that one path is an unhappy path. That makes total sense, but it's not the right path. It's
right. But and remember, Joker, when we go as we go through this, and I tell the client, says, because that's a lot of conflict, and the conflict will be within themselves. Because that being itself could have two opposite flows going in the same direction within themselves, right? So, say when they were little, well, here's a prime example of a conflict, okay? And I think that, hypnotherapy will work. I think that it can be used. However, if we have something like this, if we have a child that has been caught in a fire, say, right, and he passes out because of the smoke, right, and a fireman comes running in, kicks down the door, and he sees the child knocked out, and he yells, He's smoking. Get him, you know?
Yeah.
So the firemen grab him. Okay, but he's knocked out. But he's still picking up that he's smoking on a reactive or subconscious or unconscious level, however you want to look at it. So now, he gets to be, say, 28 years old.
Yeah.
Right? And he's smoking. He's got a literal command in there that he's smoking, right? So now he goes to a hypnotherapist who is by the grace of his heart, trying to help this guy stop smoking.
Yeah.
Right? Well, he puts a command in that every time he sees a cigarette, you won't be smoking. However, he's got that command in from way back, you're smoking. That command wasn't taken out, so he's installing this other one over the top of it. I'm going to make him climb a light pole. You know? So there would be two opposite flows going in the same direction within that being himself. So, we get a being cleaned up with himself, and they can really affect the community in a positive way around it. They've got all these commands that they've had taken out, or deprogrammed, as we talked about last week.
Exactly.
Right?
Deprogramming.
Yeah.
Unlearning.
And that was on a reactive level, too. There's also considerations that a being has, you know, from seeing people grow up, but or seeing, you know, observing things in his environment going, oh, I'm not doing that, you know. All Cadillacs are bad. You know, he saw a Cadillac. You know what I mean? Yeah, I drive a Cadillac, and I love my Cadillac. But it's like he sees these Cadillac crash all the time on the side of the road. So there's his consideration. I'm not driving Cadillacs. They're terrible. And then one guy says, you know what? Dude, my Cadillac's been awesome. Well, every Cadillac I've seen has been blah, 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 broken down on the side of the road. You know? So you have conflicts in a reactive level and also a consideration level from the being.
Well, I got a lot of those.
We all do.
And I think when you can look at the conflict in yourself and realize what conflicts are in yourself, like you were just saying, you can, because I used to, like, perfect example, I have this thing with people riding in my car. Mm-hmm. Especially, like, you can't ride in my back seat behind me.
Okay.
Like, and people think I'm strange for that. But there's serious, you know, I've been programmed in a way over years of, and just, like, you know, dreams I've had. And I know friends that have been shot through their back seat being robbed. Yeah. You know, by somebody they thought was cool. So.
Well, why wouldn't that be your consideration then?
Well,
if that's what you've seen, you know?
I mean, you know, does it make you paranoid? Yes. Is it kind of sometimes an unnecessary precaution? You know, if you're doing it all the time, like, I won't even let a chick. I'll be like, you got to sit over there. Like, straight up.
Right.
Like, I don't care who you are or what you are.
Yeah, and that's
if
what I help
if you're
with.
At 12, you got to sit over here because you're capable of. I just have this thing with people behind me.
Understood.
So you can't stab me in the back if you're not behind me. And I, you know, a lot of my, you see me at I like being in where it's like
right, where you can see and your peripherals are open and all that.
Yeah, and that's my comfort zone. But I've had to, you know, break these barriers because it was holding me back from doing other stuff.
And they will. Those things that you think are protecting are actually a non-survival mechanism sometimes.
Yeah, they're damaging me. They're holding me back.
And sometimes they're not. I mean, there's some great considerations out there, man. You know, there's some wonderful ones too. But that kind, that's what I help the people with. You know, help them become more them. For sure.
You know, yesterday, I you know, a lot of people can relate to this. Being my son's mom, have had a lot of conflict, and there's a lot of unresolved. You know, with like you said, like, there's nothing that can't be resolved through discussion and
communication. Just
communicating what's really going on. Mm-hmm. And I caught myself because it's become a habit before I let anger control what comes out of my mouth.
Good for you.
I consider what's going on there. Like, I'm not there, so I only know what I hear, and I'm assuming. So, you know, she was asleep, she had just woken up, and I know I'm grumpy whenever And it was just where, you know, and I got mad, and I was like, you know, put somebody on the phone, and I was, you know, but then I was like, and I was like, so what's going on, you know, and I was, you know,
Sort of chilled out,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm like, you know, I just heard him, you know, I just heard yelling, and like, you know, so I just, you know, and so we got, you know, it was just like, woo, you know.
You blew it?
I went back to, it was just like, cool.
You blew the ridge. It was flat.
I blew the ridge. It was like, you know, and it was like that split second of catching myself and putting my emotions in front of my intelligence, you know, and it was beneficial. You know, and I was able to sit down, you know, like I said, we sat and had a conversation. We were laughing. I took, you know, because he has a little brother. They have a kid together. And we, you know, I mean, and that's how it's supposed to be. And it's, I mean, if people knew the history with this, then they would understand that anything is possible. Because, I mean, you have to want to have that kind of, because once you make somebody so mad, it takes a long time for them to stop being pissed off at you. Because it was circumstances, you know, surrounding the last conversation we really had that actually stemmed this whole thing. But it was but she didn't know what was going on with me, and I blew up and let my emotions parade. I mean, like gallop in front of my intelligence. It was like,
exactly.
It was off,
right?
And it was on in my, and I'm just like,
thoroughbred Clydesdales, here they come, right?
And I became really, really ugly, because I can be. And you know, what I told her yesterday was, I was like, you know, we were together a long time before we split up, and I said, you know what kind of person I am, and I, you know, and how I can be if I feel like I'm acting so or insulted, or, you know, while I've changed a lot of that dynamic in my personality, you know, I still have to check myself right when it's going on. I mean, constantly people check it. Oh, well, Military Avenue is up and hopping. Conflict. Hopefully they weren't going to a conflict. Oh my goodness. But once somebody gets those inner conflicts dealt with, and they're able to, then you're able to, the conflict around you that you have with other people, the personal conflicts you have with, you know, divergent ideas, interests. I think you have to clean yourself up first, and then
there you
before
go.
You can't be dirty and leave, like, you need to take a bath, you know. So,
and man, you are all over it, Mr. Vendetti. Yes, you know, and it's like this. Okay, so if we're gonna look at a conflict here, let's and you're absolutely right. Clean yourself up first. Clean yourself up first. So let's look at the conflict here. Let's look at it pretty deep here. Let's look at two mechanisms, right?
Okay.
Okay, one is called an overt, right? And an overt is basically something that you've done. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So, now after one's committed the overt, and he doesn't want anybody to find out, he now has to withhold it. All right? Now, sometimes, and let me give you an example, and I am not innocent. Let me give you an example. And this is a long time ago. Me and my ex-wife were fighting. I mean, we were fighting very bad. And this is probably about, I don't know, gosh, 15 years ago.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. I got myself worked up because of the fight that we had. And let's just call her Sally. And if anybody's out there named Sally, I wasn't married to. That's just a fictional name. Fictional name. And I was so mad, I went out there and keyed her car.
Damn.
I did that. I did that. You know, I was so mad. I mean, it got so bad. The ridge got so piled. And I.
While you were taking off, you were.
Yeah, you take that, right? And when I keyed her car, you know, and it was wrong, but I didn't want to tell her, so I withheld it, right? And what happens is when one gets enough withholds going on in their life, what that does is that shuts them down from society. It shuts them down from communication. You ever seen somebody like when you go up and talk to them and they really can't look at you in the eye?
I see, and I always
They are withholding like you wouldn't believe, man. You can, and I can tell. It's like you've done a lot of stuff, man. You know, you don't say that, but you just, that you can really tell. You know, as much as someone communicates, you know, you get a pretty clean being there, right?
Yeah.
But when the one shut down, like you can watch people go to a quick shop, and when he goes up and he pays for like some Laffy Taffy, or he pays for some cigarettes or whatever he's paying for, a Coca-Cola, you can see, does he look at that? Does he look at that clerk? Or does the clerk look at him? You know, and you can see all these people are withholding stuff, man, left and right. So you get a person that's cleaned up, and they will communicate. Things get brighter. They do. The plants get brighter. The sound gets better. The colors get brighter.
Like you, that is no BS.
And Joker, one more time, and let me finish up. So, and this is awesome on the Little Drummer Boy. You remember that show?
Yeah.
Or Ralph, was it Rankin Bass? The little clay figures, the stop animation. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And it's so right. And I'm gonna say it, you know, and I'm gonna let this one out. It says, "The clean of heart will see the kingdom of God." So, and that's, you clean yourself up, man, and I guarantee you, stuff gets bright. Life gets fun again. You get to communicate because you don't have to hide, you know. And where I'm at Midwest Life Center, we just take those off. We have the perfect technique for that, and it's
you're like a washing machine.
Boom! It is. So,
you're a laundromat for the muddied soul.
Wow! I like that. Yeah, I am. Cool. So yeah, that is
muddied soul.
Wow, Joke. That was sort of cool.
Yeah, okay. I'm actually
laundromat. Ah, come on, get yourself cleaned up. Use a little Tide.
I am. A lot of people don't know, but I actually am a poet. So.
Well, and you didn't even know it.
I've had more recognition for poetry than I've had for any rap that I've ever.
Yeah. Tell you, we
Editors Choice Awards.
We should make a show where you're doing some poetry, and I'll have some bongos back here because I can play bongos and just
Oh, really?
A little poet, right?
Oh, well, let's get it on. But that thing you said about everything being brighter and the sound,
yeah, man.
I mean, it's so true. It just felt like I found myself smiling more in a real way. And then when people ask me how I'm doing, when I was at Burke's last night up in Benson, shooting some pool, and guy I haven't seen in a while, he's like, "Hey, Joker, man," he's like, "How you been?" I was like, "Man, I'm awesome." It's like, and I'm smiling at it, and I'm like, I haven't had that feeling and I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, man.
I am awesome right now.
Good.
I feel good. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, hopefully you're doing as good as I am.
Right on.
You know, I mean, but it. Doing that inventory and then like dumping that negative that you don't need anymore, because I mean
those reactive or false considerations that are in conflict with the being itself. Yes, dump them.
I mean, who? I mean, you don't really need, especially if you have kids. I mean,
man, yes,
that is. There really shouldn't be any, because I mean, when you have something beautiful like that around you, and you're able to appreciate the fact that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this child did not even exist. Mm-hmm. Now they look like me. Mm-hmm. They're talking. They're gonna become big and like me someday, and maybe doing something in this world. What are they gonna be doing? I mean, that blows my mind. It blows my mind. I mean, and it's beautiful. I see, every time I see a kid, I'm like, I wonder if that's going to be a surgeon. I wonder if that's going to be, what is that kid going to be? Like, I'll go out and out with my family, and I'll look at other families, and I see, and I'm like, I love to see. We were at Red Lobster. It was me, my mom, and my sister. Shout out to my mom and my sister.
Hello, how are you?
And with my son and my brother-in-law, and there was a few of us, and I was, looking at the other families, and there was a couple of kids there with their mom, and they were so smart because I go to school for drafting at ITT, and these kids, you know, we're talking about obtuse. This is obtuse. This is. I'm like, that is awesome. Like, it made me smile. It made me, you know, it made me proud to witness that as another human being, seeing that in the world, because it's a sign of hope, you know.
Amen, brother.
It's like there's a kid. I know that it's not an ignorant kid. He's gonna grow up in. I know for sure he's gonna be, you know, on a path that's not started on ignorance, because that's where it starts, is when they're that, you know, it's whenever I see a youngster and I see him, you know, engaged in knowledge like that, and they're having fun with it too, and they, I'm like, that is so cool. Him and his brother, they were, you know, I like to see brothers too, because awesome, awesomeness.
Very cool, Joker. Yeah, that's when you have a child that starts to just pop that vocabulary out at a young age. It's like, you're gonna have you got a seeker here, one that really wants to go for it, and you can really tell it also in and I've seen it I don't know numerous times that you'll look at a little one, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and you can really see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got a big being in there, man, just waiting to pop. It's gorgeous. Saw one last night at a wedding that I did last night, and yeah, she was absolutely stunning. And that's Peyton. Little girl was just absolutely bright-eyed, looking around her, observing.
Yeah.
Taking it all in, you know, like she was taking inventory, you know. It was awesome, man. So yeah, beautiful.
So whenever you see that, and then, okay, let's fast forward. Those 2 brothers at Red Lobster that were, you know, they're on a path that's righteous and positive, and so, okay, so they come across, they're teenagers, whatever like that, and they might have some friends that have a conflict. And I'm kind of basing this on a true story, but I don't want to, you know, go with. And, you know, there becomes this this kind of divide or this rift, and then it kind of gets serious, and then.
Are you talking about because they started hanging around the wrong people?
Right.
Or? Okay, yeah.
And so they got these friends, and, you know, they're clicked up, and now these guys that they're clicked up with, they have a conflict with somebody. You know, something happens to one of the brothers. He loses his life. So now the other brother he's not on that path he was on that might have been positive, and that was, now he's like, because he's emotional, and he feels a sense of duty, revenge, vengeance, you know, and he feels it's justified. So when you have a conflict like that, and it's that deep, you know, how do you fix somebody after years of, you know, just that kind of turmoil, and they're, you know, however they dealt with it, and they build this shell, and then they, you know, and now they're probably, you know, in prison, and then now they get out of prison, and now they're in society. What do you do with that guy, Steve? I mean, how do you get all the way back to that crap that was, you know, 15, 20 years ago that damaged him? And now he's, you know, unless he finds some kind of, I don't know, path, then one, he's not, you know, positive contributor to society at all. If he can't be, he's, you know, incapable, and he's self-destructive, which makes him, you know, dangerous to other people.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, liability to society now.
You know, in his family, and that might rub off into, he might have had a kid, and that, you know, and then
and there goes that contagion of aberration, like we talked last week. Yeah.
So how, I mean, what would you do with that guy? I mean, that's tough.
Absolutely. Well, of course it's tough, and the poor baby's been through some nasty stuff. Bring him in to come see me. But they're gonna have to want to do it themselves. I can't make somebody go, hey, you know what? This is really gonna help you. You should do it. No.
Yeah.
They gotta want to do it. They got. I don't want to be like this anymore. I know that I want some help, and I know that had some decisions that were wrong that lead me to this or to that. We can go back there and just absolutely blow that up.
Just do an overhaul.
I do an overhaul, absolutely, and clean that being up.
What's that show?
And I mean it. I can't. Yeah, right. Go flipping houses, boy.
We got to tear the roof. Pretty much. Sometimes they just take down most of the house and just build back around it. And,
we just take that being, clean it up. They have to want to do it for themselves. If they don't, there's no sense. If I have somebody that comes in and goes like this, hey, I got a DWI, man, I need you to sign this off. And this
people do that for real?
Yes. And they come to me and they go, man, can you sign this off? Because
they don't even try to play the game or nothing like that.
Well, they try to. Well, I know the game. I ain't playing. I
mean, wow.
Yeah, I'm serious. So they'll come in to me and I need you to sign this off. Well, let's see. Did you want to do it for yourself or did the state tell you to come in? Well, the state told me to come in. I just need a signature. I can't help you. I cannot help you. And I won't.
That's the truth.
Yeah. They don't want it. They're not taking responsibility for their own mess.
You can't help them, but you don't want to help them either.
Yeah, I don't want to help them.
Right.
No. I mean, they've got to go, you know what? This is my 5th DWI. Maybe I should, maybe not that deep.
I never got that. We probably get down to that conflict. What's a conflict inside somebody that's like, oh, I got 4 DUIs. I'm just going to go to the bar and get wasted and then drive home.
Right. Come on, guys. It's like, you're better than that.
Yeah. I mean.
You are. We are. Come on. You're making the race look bad. Come on, baby. Right?
I'm saying.
The human race, you're making us look bad.
You're
Come on,
making the race look bad. I always picture alien base in the dark side of the moon that's been sitting there for about 500 years. And they've just been, back and forth from wherever, Alpha Centauri.
54,
wherever
absolutely. Reticuli.
Right. So they're like, yeah, these guys, wow,
You know what?
I mean, I don't believe in God per se as like an omniscient person in the sky that's like, but I do believe we are being watched by like a parent type figure, and I think like if we don't clean up some of this, we're doomed. Why wouldn't they just wipe us off? You're
gonna wipe yourself off. You're just gonna if you keep.
They're just waiting for us to do it.
Wait for us
to
do it.
They're gonna clean themselves up eventually.
Right again.
They're gonna have another nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter, and then they'll have to start over as amoebas. Then
Yeah.
But it's so funny because we were talking about conflicts, and I've had that same thought where there's an intelligent race just looking down at us, going, "Come on, guys,
you can do better than that, man.
Come on."
You can do better than that. What are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
Sure. We should not have even touched their DNA.
Right.
We made them smarter. Look what they did with the intelligence. They built bombs that can destroy the planet. They have so many that if they use them, they're going to destroy the planet. And they still have them. Why do they have them?
It'd be like, darn it, they figured out the nuclear molecule. Darn it.
Uh-oh.
How did they? Yeah, watch this. Watch this, Bill.
You think they'll weaponize it?
Of course.
Of course. You saw what they did with the stick and stone. You saw what happened. They could melt metals and make weapons.
Right. So my thing is, I'm here to help as much as I can. Like I said, I'm only one guy trying to do it, and I'm standing up. And like I said, if I get my nose bloody, that's fine. But I'm here to get that conflict out of that being so he can have a bigger sphere of influence when he goes out to make his sector better, the one that he's in.
All right. I wanted to touch on not really in depth, but because this is the truth. Okay, you got the Crusades, you got these holy wars, you got these jihads.
Oh boy.
okay, these conflicts,
Mm-hmm.
and this would be at divergent ideas
Oh yeah.
because the ideologies are totally different. But they are the same. I mean, that's what I don't really get about all of it. Most of it comes from the same book, but people just can't seem to agree on that stuff.
Oh
either.
my goodness, it is.
Or
funny.
they want to add to it, or they want to take something away, or like this person was more important than this person. It's like, can't we all agree that they were good people trying to do good things? And we should probably just try to be like them instead of arguing who is the better prophet or who is the savior. Or
Who has the better God?
Yeah, who has the better? Let's play Who Has the Better God. Starring Allah.
Right. And next on the mic, Jesus. Yeah. And next on the mic, Buddha.
Satan will not be available for appearance.
Oh, and they were all great teachers. They really were.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, as long as you're not, and then there's...
What's his name? Go ahead. I'm thinking of a comedian's name because you're going to love
this.
Lavelle Crawford. I got it.
Okay. That's all you got to do is have somebody like, wait.
Let me have this just for a minute, okay. Joker. He's like this. And Lavelle goes, he goes like this. He says, man, there's some people that take it to extreme, man. And the guy would be like this. Yeah, you love Allah? You love Allah? Oh, I love Allah, man. Okay, I tell you what, we're gonna do this, and go strap a couple bombs on your chest, and go over there and blow up the house. All right, I'll get them all over it. It goes like that, and so then he goes like this. This would be back in America now. And you love Jesus? You love him? You really love Jesus? Okay, go strap a bomb on yourself and go blow up that building. Oh, I don't know Jesus like that now. You know what I'm saying, man?
I mean,
come on, man.
The actual, like...
Blowing buildings up in the name of some... What? Just stop, people.
Yeah. And then it's not like they are... the funny thing I noticed about that, though, the Holy War, whatever...
Yeah.
Is it doesn't seem like they're really attacking so if Muslims really don't like Christians or like
the Spanish Inquisition too going on.
I've never heard of the Vatican City getting messed with.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's possible. Why doesn't that happen though? I mean, I don't even think that those conflicts, I think those are catalysts for people in control to maintain control, and they're using that. And that's kind of trickling down into the masses to where it's like now we all can't get along.
Absolutely.
Because they're using this conflict to, make some money or to keep a war going or to, an excuse to go somewhere and look for something or whatever they're doing. Mm-hmm. I don't know why we went to Iraq until you find out that it's old Mesopotamia and it's like there's all this stuff there. Mm-hmm. This ancient stuff, these ancient sites, these ancient cities, Babylon. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's Iraq, Iran, and all that area where people want to go for because there is this danger. And
they need an enlightenment when they go over there. Yeah, which is all right, man. That's what they need. That's what they need.
Comes to New York and he gets interviewed and he's saying like this, and this, but our government's saying that's like, no, he's bad, but he's like, look, Israel has nuclear weapons. He's like, I mean, I'd be nervous too. You can't be my neighbor and have rocket launchers and I got a 25. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, dude, you're making me nervous, especially if, like, they might,
especially if you're not stable and you don't have your overts and withholds cleaned up as a state or as a country.
Right.
Why would I trust you?
And I think,
right?
I think
Come on, man.
If we did it as a base of citizens, if citizens started doing it, because then we would expect our leaders follow, for the most part, okay, let's say the conflict, okay, gay marriage. Mm-hmm. 5 years ago, Republicans were like, and they find out their son's gay. Well, I love him. It's my son. Of course you do, because it's your son.
Absolutely.
And now you have to deal with that conflict, and now you have to look at it, and now you have to be like, and then you can accept it because you have to understand it now.
Right. First, he gets his reality blown.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I gotta come to terms with that first.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
But then it's his son. You're
Right.
not going to disown your son over, you know. I can't think of anything my son could do to have me, and I'd be like, damn, son, like that was really, you should have not have, you know,
Done that.
you know, it's like, well, you know, you're my son, I'm gonna, you know, but I feel like that though.
Understood.
But you know, if he's wrong though, I'm not
You
gonna
let him know.
justify his actions as you know. It's like, you were wrong. You know, I still love you. I still support you, but you were wrong. This was wrong. You should feel bad about this.
And there's a consequence.
If there's a consequence, you're going to pay the price.
Absolutely.
And you got to face it like a man. Shoulders high, head back. Head high,
back.
shoulders back, whatever. You know, so it was kind of reckless, but it was a controlled experiment. Because you go out, you seem to find more conflict when people have been doing mind-altering substances, alcohol, you know, other. You know,
Of course.
So what I did was, the other night, I got a little wasted to see, but I was actually, you know, the more I got
A little experimentation
intoxicated,
were
the
you
harder it was for
doing?
me to document my, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta write this down and go to bed. But what I did was I consumed a little bit more alcohol than I usually do on a social level when I go out, because you know, if you know me, you don't see me out plastered ever. So I got a little, you know, to see how aggressive it made me, more aggressive than if I, you know, because I can be somewhat aggressive, but. So, you want to know what I found out?
What did you find out?
I was a dick. A real prick.
That happens.
I was not I mean, it was mind-blowing when I actually was studying, and because I was paying attention to my behavior as I was still, you know. And I mean, it was.
You're letting a chemical control you,
and you
whether
know
it's
what I did?
alcohol or whatever it is.
Shout out to my boy Dave. I was playing though, and I threw a pen, a writing pen, and I was trying to hit him in the chest, but I threw it like a ninja. I could throw it and it hit him in the face.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, and I know it hurt because I threw it like a ninja. So, sorry, Dave. You know I love you, bro.
Dave, did it leave an ink mark on your face?
I was intoxicated. That's why I was intoxicated like that night.
But you know what? Hold on, Joker. That was a justification, Dave. Don't let him. That's an excuse. That's all a justification is. Go ahead, Joker.
It was. But still, I apologize. But that is the definition of a justification. It was not justified at all.
Exactly.
He was just a victim of a very.
Joker taking responsibility right there. I love it. You go, baby.
But yeah. But see how that could have went into something else though.
For sure.
And then it would have like boom exploded into something else that would have been. So it's like this alcohol thing is really, because my personal beliefs are. I mean, I would be totally comfortable if alcohol was banned and marijuana was legal.
Okay.
I mean, that's my stance. That's my own personal political stance. Love it or hate it. I mean, because I guarantee you will have thousands of less deaths and, you know, from car accidents. And then, you know, the reason people are, you know, accidental overdoses on pharmaceutical medications because they drink alcohol while they take them.
Right.
Which is, you know, yeah, your heart's going to stop. You're going to. So.
If I can interject here. So there you go. So you got this person that has all these, like we were talking earlier, all these overts and all these withholds, right?
Yeah.
They're already starting to withdraw and retract from society. That's what happens. That's a mechanism. Now, so you got a guy that's done a lot of them. Now let's pump some alcohol on top of that.
Right.
Let's give him some whiskey. Let's give him some rum. And you know what? You got a walking bomb. And like we were saying, and like I've been saying for a while now, and this is just my own viewpoint. It's nobody else's out there. It's just my own. I see it as me being an entertainer. The bars are starting to really go down because of all the aberrations that the country has, and that the city has, and that the person has. And what happens is that stuff starts to build up. I've never seen it like this. And in the 90s, there was no way somebody would come up and talk to a woman at a bar like this. There'd be no way. The guy would get smacked. You do that in a southern state where respect is still like boom,
Present.
Present. Thank you. And like chivalry, and you would get the guy's done.
Oh yeah,
he's done. I mean, in Texas, white or black, the people down there are beautiful. They are gracious, man. And you come up and disrespect a lady like that up here, how I see it. Oh, goodness gracious, don't do that. But back to the point, the aberrations are getting so bad that people are getting real fighty, real disrespectful, and that's just all overts and withholds. That's all it is. And we're pumping alcohol on top of that now. And now that's why we're seeing so many fights go down, man. And that's why we're seeing so many pregnancies go up. That's what's going down, man. It's all these withholds, all the lack of respect. It's just a big,
but
big
that all comes
ball.
back down to the inner conflicts of that individual.
Bam.
Coming in. So
those inner conflicts are coming out in a bar through alcohol.
Because the only benefits I found for conflict was, provision of ethics and, moral standards, like Civil War, like that was something that it's like, this is not how we should be. This is like blah, blah, blah. So, or checks and balances. If you have an existing power, that's like when the, British Empire pretty much ruled the colonies, the early colonies, and then we had the Revolutionary War because they're like, dude, we're not paying taxes. You guys are way over there. It's like we're doing our stuff here. You guys, like that's not cool. So we're gonna check that. We need checks and balances. We need and then now we have America.
Two opposite flows going in two opposite directions.
But what I found was from all these, there's always corruption to a point of major dysfunction.
Well, yeah.
Always. Like America,
because it doesn't get handled.
Beautiful idea when it was conceived by the forefathers of this country. It's like, yes, freedom, freedom of speech, freedom to, pursue life. Freedom. I mean, if you look at our laws now, they're not like that. It doesn't make sense.
It's unfortunate, and I said it before. George Washington would be rallying the troops. Right
Exactly.
now. I hate to say that, but come on,
rallying,
guys.
You're rallying the troops. That's what George Washington would be doing right now, rallying the troops.
Don't be throwing out any subliminal messages, Joker. Rallying the troops.
Citizens.
He said, think for yourself. That's what's up, man.
Right. But you still got people that are like, this is the greatest country on earth. A person like that to me is, you're brainwashed.
Yeah.
Or you're not looking at, your life might reflect that. But the general, the core population is not.
Understood. The populace.
We're the 99%. We're not, there, three things can totally take somebody's livelihood. Like if you have a house, you got your car, you got your job, you got your family. You lose that career, the rest of your livelihood goes out of the door. You're not living the American dream anymore. You're living the American nightmare. You're struggling. You need government assistance now. You got to, move to public housing. You have to, you know what I'm saying? And that is going to, so
a loss is a
people
loss.
don't understand how unstable their lives really are. Like how much job security do you really have?
And Joker, that's why we want to get that person or that being strong enough and capable enough to create something on their own and make money that way. One guy says, I like flowers. Very cool, man. Tell you what, open up a floral company.
Exactly.
Do it. And, everybody can do it. Everybody has that power to do it. I would love, I'm self-employed, and I thank God every day that I am. I'm doing what I love to do. If we can get the populace doing what they love to do, it's a no fail. But when you when you're with another company and you've been with this company for so long, and they just let you go like that. I've known a few people, 22 years with the company. Well, we don't need you anymore. Thanks for coming. Smack on the butt. And the guy's he's like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
I don't know.
You know, and that's what happens. It does. So I see your point.
If they don't learn to deal with the conflicts, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you have how is your job really secure? Because if you're, you have all these overts,
Mm-hmm.
and you're at a job, then you blow up one day because you have all these overts.
Right.
And you couldn't help it though, because you're an emotional being. You're a person, and you just too much crap got piled on, and now you just undone 20 years of hard work, retirement and all this other stuff. And that's the guy you see, the next, shooting, somebody that, took that kind of hit, and it all comes down, it's like, because you had these conflicts. And it's like, and I'm saying that's the disadvantages of conflicts.
That's a horrible disadvantage. The guy's got so much on him.
It's a huge list. It's resentment, physical, mental injury, death, loss, destruction, emotional, physical turmoil, devolvement from higher learning, which is, well, death is not really a good thing either. Either is injury and
just the transition.
Devolvement of higher learning is it's almost sinful to me.
When you go the opposite direction of higher learning, absolutely, and
you're in the revolving door. Going where?
Which way am I supposed to go? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's designed to keep you that way, man. The person has to want it for themselves, and and this is the only thing that I could say is what's true for you is true for you, and that's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. It's not true because I'm saying it's true. The person.
Well, what's true for you is true for you.
That's it.
It's so.
And vice versa, and right back at you, baby. Right?
It's like, that's true. It sounds true to me, and that's what I think people need to see. Like, what is true to you? What is really true to you? All my viewers out there and listeners, what do you know in your heart that's true? I mean, you can find, if you have kids, that you love your kids. That's a truth, and that is a solid truth, and that's something you can base. Something you can build your life around. That truth is that, no matter what I do, all I need to do, like my kids are my world, boom. And and everything around that will be positive. There's not really, you're not going to be, it's like, oh yeah, part of, being around my family all the time is hanging out on the corner and, drinking. It's like, you're not going to be, you're going to be going to baseball games and soccer games and, just being a part of something that doesn't have the potential for conflict or a huge amount of negativity attached to it that would, give you overts.
Absolutely. And then cause you to withhold. Absolutely. I'm all over it. Yeah.
So if you were, this is to resolve a conflict. It's like, so how do you resolve a conflict? How do you have resolution with a conflict?
Through communication. Yeah, and that I can't stress that enough, man. And then if they can sit there without, you've seen this. And okay, let's take a bar for instance, and then I'm going to take one of my own personal experiences. Okay. Actually, these are two because I've watched them. This is how ridiculous it's getting out there. Okay, so this guy is playing some music on a jukebox. This is St. Patrick's Day. All right, this is St. Patrick's Day. And I'm watching it. This guy's playing some music, and there's a guy 40 feet sitting in a chair going, man, that music's weak. And he was playing, I don't know, he's playing some 80s stuff or something. But whatever.
Yeah.
And then he played a country song after that. And that music, and the guy's yelling it. Disrespectful 22-year-old kid back there. And this other guy's like 42 over there. Then he plays another one. He goes, and he said it again. Man, that music, come on, man. That music. And so the guy goes over there and boom, headbutts him. Just like that. Boom, just like that. And I'm standing there going, okay, here we go. So then all his friends get up. They stand up, right? And they start, blah, 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 and they were getting ready to get into it. And the guy that headbutted him says, The reason there's no sense in the violence, and there was no sense for him to be yelling out at the guy's music.
Oh,
Come on,
exactly.
you don't like the music, just leave, man.
You're the instigator.
Right, don't instigate it.
You're the instigator.
Not saying what the other guy did was right, but here's what was beautiful about it. They, and they were just going at it, and they stayed, and they stayed, and they stayed, and they stayed, and they were yelling back and forth, and then all of a sudden, boom, it blows, and they shake hands. They communicated all through that chaos and got to an agreement.
Compromise.
Yeah, it was just an agreement. It was beautiful. And I had one more. I played in a band. This is a while back. And the lead singer and I had a conflict, and it was a she, and it was about some jet ski thing. Right? She screamed at me or something like that on the lake. That's our lead singer. And we got in this fight. And then I called her up. I said, Jackie. And then she started yelling. I said, okay, don't you dare hang up. Do not hang up. I want to get through this. And we must have went on for about, I don't know, five minutes of just really getting it out on the table. Everything. And then you hit the truth of it, boom. And the truth blows. The truth will ignite. You cannot stand in the way of truth.
Right.
You can't. Time, form, and event. That's truth. When you put a person right on it, there's nothing. There's not a single thing on this planet that can stand in the way of truth. It will blow. Boom. So once you hit the truth, and then just you get this area that just opens up, and your communication line is now free.
Exactly. That the settlement of differences by arbitration or by consent reached by mutual concessions. Even if you have to get a third party in there to do the communicating back and forth, just to start there. Isn't that what they did with the? Was it Israel and Iran?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it was because their right to exist, something like that.
Oh, was that Iran in Iraq, or who was it?
No, it was Iran and Israel.
And who was the third party?
We had some kind of, where I didn't understand that. It's like, oh yeah, we should be mediating. So like, yeah, we're the level-headed people.
Exactly. Listen to us, or we're just a bum.
Listen to us.
And Joker, that's what I do in marriage counseling. When I deliver marriage counseling, I have the person sitting to my left, whether it's the husband or spouse, and then if the spouse is in the chair, who I am talking to, the husband is sitting right next to me, right? And I'm the mediator, right? Yeah, and it's phenomenal. That type of counseling is just explosive. So I'm the mediator, and we keep everything, and we stay on the truth. And by the time we leave that session, that person, each one of them are up. Pots and pans might fly for a little bit, but we're good to go. I'm mediating that too.
All right, excellent.
Bill, don't throw that pan.
All right, so people, there we go. Conflict. How can we analyze it? Let's do some inventory. Let's get to where let's get to your inner conflicts. Let's see where your problems lie. Let's analyze them. Let's check it out. Let's fix them. Let's get rid of your dirty baggage. Mm-hmm. Let's take your muddied soul to the laundromat. Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
that made me think. That's sort of cool.
Life's becoming really poetic for me right now. So it's kind of
good. You're creating, man. That's what it's up, baby.
Yeah.
Joker, let me give a shout out to this Northeast Precincts.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the Northeast Precincts presents Youth Citizens Education Training Program. You guys, that goes from June 3rd to June 6th, 2013. The Omaha Police Department's Northeast Precinct is hosting a Citizen Education Training Program, and that's NECETP. Now, this 4-night mini academy is specifically developed to provide youth with a better understanding of Omaha Police Department procedures and its service to the community. The program begins Monday, June 3rd, and concludes Thursday, June 6th. And that goes from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's at the Northeast Precinct, 30th and Taylor Street. And they've got 5 modules, and they give you a department overview. They talk about gangs, guns, and drugs, homicide, domestic violence. Well, they're getting right down to the issues here, Joe.
Yeah.
Internal affairs, crime scene investigation, which I think is pretty cool because you can get the crime scene is like anymore. They're done, and I didn't want to bring up Boston today, but you guys, the police department and everybody in Boston, how awesome was that, man? I mean, for the police to get down and find them.
Oh man!
Come on, man!
I don't even know.
Get in the face.
I'm still analyzing the whole thing because there are some things that didn't make sense to me. You know, and I was just like, wow, that's kind of strange that happened.
Right.
In the month of April, which just happens to be the month that Waco and all this other stuff. Like there's.
We had a fertilizer bombing too. But let me finish
Texas.
this one up. But yeah, I mean, I thought the crime scene investigation in Boston was very cool. I really did. And then they also, this is the Northeast Precinct, they do a Q&A with the chief of police. And that should be cool. As a matter of fact, I did that.
Q&A, that should be interesting. I
Yeah,
think I'm
right?
going to go to that.
Go to that. No,
I'm going to have to attend that.
God, and what is his name, the chief of police? And the guy's awesome.
It's a new guy.
I did his wedding.
Oh, really?
He was cool. Yeah, man. And you know what? I'm pretty tight with the police because there are some good ones out there, and I love them.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh man, I love them.
I know, it's just hard to meet some.
Really?
When I do, I've met some cool.
There's some
before.
cool ones,
I mean,
man.
I've been pulled over before, and
Yeah.
It's once they find out you speak intelligent and you're not ignorant, and
Right.
and you're not trying to make excuses.
Right.
There are people too. I mean, you just keep it real with them.
Absolutely. And
I'm just like, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
that
so
is like so,
right on. And this is so funny. And we're talking about overts and withholds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a guy. I give him a ride in my car, right? And we're driving, and he goes, "Oh man, it's a cop." I'm like, "So?"
Right? That's what I say.
He's going to help us, baby. I mean, it's like, what have you done? What have you done?
I'll be sitting there. I'll be riding, smoking, and see a cop. I don't care. I'm like, oh, there's a cop. Just because
they're on our side,
like
man.
I'm not shameful of, if you're riding around ashamed of something, then, or you're scared that somebody's gonna.
That's your own case.
Get, get caught for doing like.
That's your own stuff, man. That's all that is.
And I'm not knocking anybody that's on that type of time, but I mean.
Let's clean it up, babe.
Man.
Let's clean it up.
I love not worrying about them fools no more.
Right on. So that's
unless they catch me in the dark and I'm not really sure. I'm like, let me pull around to where it's lighted area. Let me get my iPhone out, get the camera on.
Yeah, guys, we just got to clean it up, make ourselves a better society. And nobody's blaming anybody, man. Everybody clean up, me included.
I think everybody should just get off the, being defensive naturally. Mm-hmm. Unless you have a reason to, it's like people are really defensive.
Yeah, well, that's their stuff.
They're being attacked.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with in a relationship. The lady's all like, "What? Hey, what?" It's like, whoa,
yeah.
What'd you do?
Exactly.
I didn't do nothing. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah, as soon as somebody says, "I didn't do nothing,"
yeah.
That means you done something.
You done something. You're innocent.
Done something.
You're innocent.
Nobody ever.
You're innocent.
Right? You.
So on this Northeast Precincts,
yeah.
That's June 3rd to June 6th, 2013. Should be pretty cool. You must be registered to attend. If you need more information, contact the Northeast Community Resource Center. That's at 402-444-3367. Or the Northeast Front Desk at 402-444-6916.
6916.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. I'd like to thank my co-host, Steve Lindsay. He's the man.
You're the man, Joker. Hey, you know what? I think before you go, we got to give a shout to Webby, because guess who? Webby's coming in concert, baby.
Oh, yeah.
What's up about that?
Oh, Webby. Oh, my boy, Hands On. Shout out to Ron Jones.
Independent man on that, right?
Yeah, all these guys. Yeah,
that's a jam right there. I love that song, man. That's a jam.
Yeah, that's Shannon Marie, good artist.
Uh-huh.
Dope artist, BZB, really dope DJ.
Is that the girl that's on Independent?
Oh, Shannon Marie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she says, so she's the one inside that song?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Is it Dupree or who that is? I mean, just,
But this is the Mid-America Center, April 21st, 2013. That's a Sunday. Same day as the show.
Yep. What time does that start, man?
Oh, That is where we got here. Where is the time on this thing? I would say, get there early. You're not gonna fight. Get there early. There's not gonna be parking. Look who's coming. He's not.
You got it on there?
There's not gonna be any parking. I don't see a time.
You don't have a time on there?
No. You know what though?
An all day long event with Webby.
That's doing graphics is very, very meticulous work because just one little thing, like the time, can totally. I've done that so many times. I'm like, ah, crap, there's no time on here. Yeah.
Well, that was a quick hour, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we went
really
over.
Quick. I'm like, damn.
I had so much more to
ran
talk
over
about.
time a little bit.
We didn't even touch on anything, man. Joker, if anybody wants to solve those conflicts, come to me, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm serious, man.
Talk to Steve. What number can they reach you at?
402-208-4396. 402-208-4396.
And that's you're at the Midwest
Life Center.
Midwest Life Center.
Yep. 619 South 20th Street, and that's in Omaha, Nebraska, downtown.
And that is the laundromat for the muddied soul.
Hey, man, I like that.
All right. I want to give a shout out to all my citizens. I love y'all. I want to give a shout out to my brother in Cali, Paul James.
Hey, Paul.
Really miss that dude. He actually, he's one of the people that got me, on a music path. And now, I mean, he's one of the people I wouldn't even be in this seat if it wasn't for him. I want to, I haven't seen him in years. He's been, he got married, got a beautiful wife now. He's
awesome,
doing awesome.
Man.
He's a cat that he was one of my brother's best friends. I don't know if I had a brother that passed away in '93, and they were really tight, and it was a really big hit for everybody. But I mean, he actually, he got his life together. He's, kids, and he's on it, and he still supports me, So just want to give a shout out to him. I love you, bro. All right, citizens. Till next week. I think we should come back to this next week a little bit.
Yeah.
And, and like if you, as far as arbitration, even if, young cats out there, if you're, gang banging or whatever, if you got cliques, if there's cliques that, you need somebody to be in between, just a neutral, I'm down for that. Steve's down for that. We can do it on the show. We can do it in private. We can, let's just start.
Yeah, man.
Let's start cleaning up.
We want everybody to flourish and prosper. That's
Exactly.
The only thing that we want for you guys. Flourish and prosper, and you guys want everybody to create and find that thing they love and do it.
Exactly. I'll say church on that one. All right, till next time, everybody. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Vendetti's block.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Good to have you. Introducing the legend himself, non-profit prophet, the epitome representation of a citizen nation. Words encapsulate the many problems which we are facing. The engineer, the designer, the flame of the fire that forms a platform for citizens that elevate higher. The sound of the trumpet, warning war has begun between the rebel aliens and the ignorant ones. Bringing my fellow citizens to the plane that I'm from. Cause ignorance will leave your brain dead, same as a slug. A straight shooter focused like a laser, same as my gun. The epitome and summary of all the above. Bridging gaps like overpasses, catch I'm bridging the masses. Breaking barriers and walls and involved with smashes. I'm a general, a captain, a lieutenant, and leader. Since following examples of my citizen senior. The pillars of wisdom, my professors and teachers. All citizens studious to progressive procedure. Now I carry the torch, now prophet, and preacher. Gatekeeper to the kingdom, epitome St. Peter. Liberian savior, Luciferian Jesus. With the power to convert you by the end of this thesis. Keep the words of the written in a reflective condition. Free your mind from any sense of interjecting suspicion. Keep your logic and reasoning, common sense in your wits. The only tools you need to have when your adventure begins. Pay attention, citizens, to the words that I'm speaking. Every Sunday at 4 o'clock, it's real talk on Vendetti's block.